Hi, welcome to Camp Hunt's Youth Camp information and instruction video. We got a lot of information to give you, and if there's anything on here that doesn't make sense or you need more information about, please refer to the Leader's Guide that is found at Utah Scouts.org slash Camp Hunt. I'm Brian.
Let's try this again. utahscouts.org/hunt.
There you go. That's why I got her to be in charge of things. I'm Brian Simmons. I'm the camp director, and this is my wife, Robin Simmons. Together, we've been doing camp for about 11 years, and we've taken our family. Most of those years have been at Camp Hunt. It is our home away from home. We lovingly refer to it as our happy place. So we hope that this summer, when you get to come and visit us, you will also feel like it's your happy place and get a little bit of sanity for the time that you're up there with us. Introduce yourself.
I'm Robin. I guess I act as the business manager. It makes me feel important. This year I will also be running the archery range. I've kind of done almost every position at camp except for waterfront, and Brian and our kids have done waterfront almost nonstop. So we know camp, and we are excited to be there. We're excited to try this new youth program, see how it runs. We ask for feedback. This is the first time we've run it. We were supposed to run it last year, and obviously that didn't happen. We've made a little bit of changes and things from the plan that was in place for last year, and we'll move forward with it. We'll explain those changes to you so that you're ready to go. And we welcome your questions. We welcome your feedback. If things are unclear, please let us know so we can get information out in a way that helps everybody.
A little bit of information about Camp Hunt itself. We are on the shore of Bear Lake, which is also known as the Caribbean of the Rockies. Beautiful lake, not quite as warm as the real Caribbean, but pretty amazing. The color of the water depends on the color of the sky. It reflects it beautifully from a deep blue color to a really beautiful green color. Also, we get some amazing sunrises looking across the lake to watch the sun come up over the mountains on the other side of the lake. We're very blessed to be able to spend the summer up there, and you'll see when you come up and spend the week or spend your days with us what we get to enjoy up there, and we want to share it with you. Some of the amenities at Camp Hunt are, number one, all flushing toilets. That is one of the big pulls for Camp Hunt, is that we have hot water showers and on-demand hot water and flushing toilets. We don't have the pit toilets, which is a wonderful blessing for us. Like we said, you get to see those amazing sunrises and watch the sun set and the colors change as the sun drops behind the mountains behind camp. See how it changes the color of the lake. Our staff is just top notch. Most of our staff is returning with us and have been there, and they believe and love camp as much as we do. Location wise, we are 2 miles north of Garden City and the State Marina. We're also about 2.5 hours north of Salt Lake City. Most of you, hopefully, have had a chance to be up to Bear Lake. If this will be your first time up there, you're in for a treat.
Okay, as far as when you arrive at camp, we ask that you please do everything you can to arrive on time. The schedule's tight. We stay on schedule. We don't usually wait for people to arrive to get going with things. You'll want some setup time. You'll want time for your youth to find where things are at camp. It makes them a lot less nervous if they have time to feel comfortable while they're there. Plan ahead for your departure time. If you're not sure how long it's going to take you to get there, Google how long it is from your meeting place to Garden City or to the Bear Lake Marina in Garden City. We're only a mile past the marina, so that'll give you a pretty good guesstimate of time if you Google one of those. We also ask, especially on Wednesday, as the group that is leaving on Wednesday, that you've planned for your departure, that you have things packed up, ready to go. Time will be limited. We do on Wednesday have to get the morning group out to bring in the group that comes in for the second half of the week. Our parking lot is tight. We have to make room for all of that transition, and And we want to make it pleasant for you. So anything we can do to help with that, but we do ask that you plan ahead as it's getting time, for you to leave so that you're ready to do so. Immediately upon arrival at camp, or as soon as you get parked, we do ask that you send 1 leader to the lodge, to the dining hall for check-in. When they come to the lodge, they'll need to have with them the medical forms, part A and B, that are required when you attend a scout camp. They'll also need to have a completed swim check roster and any final payments that you may need to make at camp. BSA medical forms, part A and B, is what is required. Part C, that is the doctor's physical, is not required. Those can be found in the leader's guide. They can also be found by just Googling BSA health form. Swim checks. We do ask that all swim checks be done before arriving at camp. If there's any way possible to do that. Time is very limited and schedule is tight, and we don't have a lot of lifeguards. And so we ask that you come with that already done so that we don't have to take time out of your program and the fun time and the fun things that you have planned to be able to do the swim checks. Those are also found in the leader's guide. I'll let Brian explain a little bit about how to do the swim check before you come.
Swim checks are actually pretty easy to do. You can look up BSA swim checks, just Google that, and it's pretty easy to get the distances that the participants need to swim and what they need to show. The swim checks are to show proficiency in the water. It is a safety issue so that if they're going out in the boats and using the different watercraft at camp, that they are proficient on the swimming to be safe if they were to tip over or capsize or whatever. Goofing around in the water does quite often end up that way. So we need you to make sure that they are comfortable with it. It does not take a certified lifeguard to do the swim checks. A leader that understands what the distance is, which is 100 meters total, and how to do it, the different turns and different strokes. As long as those guidelines are followed, any leader can sign that off saying, yes, this is what our participants are comfortable with on the swimming. So please make sure you're accurate with that for the safety of your youth and your leaders, because everyone that goes into our water needs to have a swim check done. Some of the things that we have, other things we have at camp is in our campsites. Each campsite has 2 picnic tables, a fire pit, trash can. We do ask that you bring garbage cans, trash liners for the garbage cans. Restrooms will be close by with your campsite, and also a water spigot will either be in the campsite or close to the campsite. All water in Camp Hunt is potable water, so it is drinkable. We are on city water, and so that's one of the other blessings that happens with our camp. We are on 13 acres of land at our camp, and so to fit 26, 27 campsites, that's pretty tight. So please conserve your space, conserve your tent numbers so that you will fit into your campsite. If you have questions on that, please contact us and we can help you figure out with your campsite what's going to work best for fitting all your youth and your leaders into that site.
As far as bathrooms go at Camp Hunt, we've kind of touched on this a little bit. We do have all flushing toilets. We don't have any latrines, so you shouldn't have any weird smells coming into your campsite from the breeze. But we're blessed to have had some wonderful donations to bring those in, and we ask that you help us take care of those. Our showers are all on-demand hot water. If you don't have hot water in your shower, please let us know. We can't fix it unless we know there's a problem. Last year, I believe we went 2 days of cold water and Scoutmasters and Scouts just freezing because they had cold water and nobody told us. So if you tell us, we can usually get it fixed pretty quick. The restrooms in camp will be designated as male or female. That will probably depend on where the males and the females are in camp while you're there. But they will be clearly marked while you're there. If you need help finding a restroom or a shower for your use, just ask a staff member. When you're there, you'll be able to identify us. We'll all have on matching staff shirts. As far as the central bathrooms go, the showers in the central bathrooms will be for youth only for whatever gender is designated in those showers. The north and south bathrooms are a little bit different. The showers in those bathrooms are individual locking rooms, floor to ceiling, walls and doors. And so those are youth protection safe, and anyone, one person at a time, can use those showers um, at any time during the day, and just go in and lock the door and do what you need to do. If there's anything that needs any maintenance or anything unexpected that ends up in there, please let us know so we can take care of it.
Speaking of keeping youth protection and all the safety factors of camp, one of the things that we ask or is required for camp is that we have 2 deep leadership at all times. Please make sure that you've got 2 adult leaders in camp with us at all times. Generally with youth camps, we have many adult leaders, and so that's not usually a problem, but please make sure that we've got that at all times. Being so close to Garden City, it's easy to say, oh, I'm going to go run and grab a burger or grab a shake from LeBeau's or whatever
Or
it
run
is.
to the grocery store for something you realize you
Yeah.
left.
But please make sure that you've got 2 adult leaders in camp at all times. Also, please talk to your youth about buddy system. Teach them the importance of buddy system for their safety, not as a control issue, but as a safety issue. We are right along a very busy highway, and we often get visitors into camp. They're curious about what our camp has. They're looking for access to the lake. Generally, we have rarely had any issues with our visitors that come into camp, but we want to make sure that our youth are safe. Buddy system is the easiest way to maintain that safety in our camp.
All right, as far as camp ecology, keeping our plants and our animals and you safe, we ask that you keep all food and trash cleaned up. At the end of each night, take your trash to the dumpsters. We do have a dumpster in the north parking lot and one in the parking lot right out in front of the lodge. Please use those. Please close the lids when you're done to keep our animals out of them. We don't have bears at Bear Lake, as opposed to some of the camps have bears close and they have to be very careful for those. We don't have that, but we do have raccoons, we have skunks, we have badgers, we have, deer, moose. We do have a lot of animals come through, even just we refer to them as mini bears, the little ground squirrels. The ravens will dive bomb you if you leave things out, but we have watched a raccoon turn the lid on a container and get to what was inside of it.
They like licorice.
They do, and they like cheese balls, the little cheese puff things. And I'm sure anything else you'll leave out, they will get to them if they're left out and not in an airtight container. We've also seen instances where the little ground critters will chew through the bottom of a tent to get to the food that's in a tent. We recommend that you don't keep food in tents and that you encourage your youth to not do so. I would even leave them locked in the car, just bring out what you're going to use that day. Something like that, because we do have animals and it's not safe for you to have those animals in camp, and it's not healthy for the animals. We ask that the youth don't climb trees. We don't have a lot of climbable trees at Camp Hunt, but we do have some, and they're very enticing. Believe me, we've spent a lot of years there with our own children as they were young, and they like to climb trees. We don't want the trees damaged, and we, even more importantly, don't want the youth hurt. So please help us with that. There are no hammocks allowed in camp, simply for safety reasons and, again, to protect our trees. The only way that you can have a hammock is if you have a freestanding hammock stand. So if a youth is insistent on bringing their hammock, please let them know that they cannot be tied to trees and to buildings. Please bring your own firewood. We don't have a lot of down trees in camp. Just our proximity, our plants are more water sustained plants. And so we don't get the big trees that drop branches and drop wood like you would maybe in the forest. There's not a lot of firewood available. So if you're going to plan on fires, please bring firewood. At the same time, if a fire ban were to happen, we would try to keep you notified of that. And we are held to fire bans in the area just like anyone else would be. But please don't cut down trees or branches for firewood. Don't harm our trees in any way. Fires need to be coaled out. If you can't put your hand into it before you walk away, it's not out enough. This is really important. Sometimes people are getting it ready for a meal, or they just think it's not that big of a deal. There's nothing close by that it could start a fire, but it is a big deal, and we want to be responsible neighbors in Garden City area. And then I think I also mentioned we do have dumpsters both at the north end of the north parking lot and at the south end of the parking lot in front of the lodge. Please use them. Please make sure when your youth are emptying the trash at your campsite that they don't just dump them into someone else's trash or one of the trash we have to take care of. Our youth stay busy. They do a lot of chores around camp. They don't need to also have to empty the trash because someone filled it up with their trash in an unnecessary manner.
All right. Those parking lots where the dumpsters are the dumpsters are pretty easy to spot as you pull into those parking lots. Those campers that will be on the south end of our camp will be able to pull into the lodge parking lot, unload the gear, haul it to the campsites. Staff will be there to help haul stuff and to guide as you're moving the gear in. And then we'll have you move the vehicles down to our north main parking lot where you'll back them in and we stack them pretty tight. We ask that you please minimize the number of vehicles you're coming in. We had one year with a girls camp, we had one group come in with 13 girls and 15 cars, something like that. It was crazy. They had so much stuff that they were bringing in, and it just makes it difficult for our parking lot. For others in our parking lot's okay, it deals with it, but our parking lot is so small, it's tight, we need to make things work. We do have a system for getting cars moved around because we stack them deep, that we just need people to follow directions. We'll give you information when you get up to camp on how that works, because you won't remember between now and then. But the parking lot is a central location, only a few hundred yards from most of the camps. You will be hauling your gear from the parking lot to your campsites. There's only a couple campsites that are bordering the parking lots that you can just haul right into the campsites. The rest you'll be going down trails. So please make sure, if possible, bring something that you can haul stuff with either a wheelbarrow or wagon would work great. We do have a couple in camp, but they get pretty busy on those check-in days. The gate into our parking lot is a historic gate. It's actually what keeps some of our property protected from right-of-way. And we want to protect that stone gate. It's beautiful. It has a plaque on it that gives some of the history of our camp and the people that its namesake is. So please be careful when you're pulling in, especially with trailers. Limit the size of the trailers. The gate is 11 feet wide by 13 feet tall. Most RVs and camper trailers really struggle to get through that gate. If you are planning on bringing a trailer of that sort, you need to have it approved by myself to make sure that we're protecting our gate and that we have room to move it in. But for the most part, we discourage and sometimes just say we don't have room for those campers. Also, if you've got leaders bringing in boats, they will need to launch from the marina a couple miles down the road from us and also store the boat at the marina or in the dry dock at the marina. This information you can get through Bear Lake State Park. I believe it's $5 or $10 per night for storage, also $5 for the launch. And that might be combined on the cost. I can't remember. But all of that has to be done through the marina. You can come into the camp beach to pick up the people to take them out on the water. But we ask that you talk to our waterfront director so that she is aware of boats coming in, just so we can protect our swimmers and our not so experienced watercraft use people. We want to make sure everybody's safe and having a great time out on the water.
Just so that you are aware, and it is posted in the schedule, we do ask that our youth groups help us to clean up camp before they leave. This will help us prepare for the next group coming in. It will also give our staff time to have a bit of a weekend. They get less than 24 hours for their weekend, and if they're doing a ton of chores around camp, that's rough.
And they get grumpy.
Well, so do I.
Oh, yes.
We will have a brief time in camp closer to the end of your stay where we do ask for help to clean the bathrooms and the showers, probably also the dining hall. And while your group is cleaning up the campsite, we will ask for a handful of people to also help us with that. And we'll communicate that more and better when you get to camp. But we will ask for that in the time you're at camp to help us with the cleaning of the camp.
With the size of our camp, as I mentioned earlier, we are only on 13 acres of property. And so you're going to be really close to your neighboring campsites. We try to spread people out the best that we can. But we have to have some camp rules to help all the campers get along and play nice together. One of those is stay out of the campsites that are not yours with your group. It's really easy to just hop over a log and wander through, and maybe it's a shorter route to the waterfront. But please teach your youth the respect to be able to respect the other campers and their areas. Also, quiet hours are from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. With lights out at 10:30. Being that close, you might have tents 10 feet away from your tent and another campsite, and we want to be respectful of those campers that are trying to get the sleep that they need. Also, we will be doing reservations on our schedule for the different amphitheaters we have available in camp, the pavilions, or other special areas in camp that you would want to use for your different programs. Whether it's a spiritual meeting, whether it's a little more games or other activities. You have the opportunity on May 22nd to come up to Camp Hunt, get to meet Robin and I, and some of our staff will be up there with us. You'll get to meet us, ask your questions, and let us show you the camp. Let us show you why it is such an amazing place and why you are so fortunate to be able to come up and visit our camp. You also get to see how long my beard's getting by then. I'm kind of excited. It's about the longest I've ever grown it. So come up and get to see where that's at. I don't know.
All right, moving on. As far as food while you're at camp, there are two options that you can choose from. You can bring your own food, or you can choose to eat in our dining hall. If you bring your own food, we expect that you'll bring all your own cooking utensils and gear, that you'll bring your own coolers and things to keep, refrigerated. That decision needs to be made at least 2 weeks before you arrive at camp, preferably long before that, but at least at that point, so that we can buy the food that we need and not overbuy for the dining hall. Ice is available in the trading post for sale. It's much cheaper at the trading post than it is in town. Something popping up on the computer here, just a second. It is cheaper than it is in town, and it's right there. You don't have to leave camp to get it. So know that there is that available. As far as bringing your own food, like I said, we expect that you will bring everything that you need. However, if you find that you've missed something, please come and ask our kitchen. We will try to accommodate in any way we can, but we make no promises whether or not we've got an item that you need. If you need a whisk, if you need a spoon to serve or to stir something, please come ask us. If you're eating in the dining hall, menus will be available soon at utahscouts.org/hunt. If someone in your group has a dietary need, there's something they can't eat, or they've got celiac disease or something, we ask that you have their parent or the leader themselves, if it's for them, go online to utahscouts.org/hunt. And there's an allergy form there that they can fill out. We need that filled out minimum of 2 weeks before you arrive at camp. And then when we receive that, our cook will call the parents and get all the details of that dietary need and determine whether or not that is something we can accommodate or not. If we are able to accommodate it, things will continue as normal. We would like for that person to come meet our cook so the cook knows who they are and can watch for them in line when they're getting their food. If we're not able to accommodate that need, that we will let the parent know, and then that will give the parent time to prepare food for their child to bring with them, something that they can eat at camp. If it's necessary, we can provide refrigeration or microwave for them to be able to heat their food. We'll try to make those accommodations best we can for their needs. Obviously, we don't want them to go hungry. If there's a situation where we just can't accommodate their needs, we will refund the amount needed to cover their food while they were at camp.
Also, with the different restrictions that are coming and going here in the state, we will be adjusting what the eating schedule is or place. If we need people to have more space, we would serve them and then have them take the food outside to be able to spread out and keep the social distancing. More information will be coming on that as we get closer to the summer and as we figure out how to make those accommodations and make it work during this ever-changing time. We will make things work to keep our camp safe and keep our campers safe.
All right, let's move on to the schedule. For those of you who have had your reservations for a while, you may have gone online to download our schedule and start planning your time at camp. Please be advised that just in the last week or so has changed. You will want to go online and check the schedule and make sure that you have the most up-to-date schedule. Because of COVID and to simplify things for everyone involved, we decided to go to a rotation schedule instead of a sign-up schedule. So let's take a look at this real quick, and so you know what to look at, what your schedule is while you'll be at camp. The first thing I want to note real quick, and because I'm worried I'll forget it, is right here in this section where if you're coming in on Wednesday, whether for a 3-day or for a 4-day camp, we don't provide lunch. That's check-in time for you and to be arriving. So we ask that you provide some kind of lunch for your group, whether you provide sack lunches for them, whether you tell them to bring their own sack lunches. We don't so much care how you do that, but just be aware that you will have to provide lunch for yourselves on Wednesday if you're coming in there. All right, let's look at the 3-day schedule. We have arrival and check-in. There's a small window there. I believe it's 2 hours to arrive and get checked in. And then there's only 1 hour to get campsite set up. The earlier you arrive, the more time you'll have to get your campsite set up, get tents set up, get your cooking facilities set up, and let your youth find their way around camp.
Find the trading post.
That's a good thing too. Yes, that will be a favorite. They'll know right where that is first. And then right after that, we have lunch. Right after lunch, we start into your first rotation and your second rotation. There will be 5 rotations while you're at camp. If you move down to the bottom of this screen, the rotation activities, we've got archery mixed with 9 square in the air. We can either split the time between the two or split the group in halves or thirds so everyone gets time rotating between those two things. If you're not familiar with what 9 square in the air is, ask your youth. They know what it is. It's kind of a mix between the 4 square you played in elementary school and volleyball. It's up in the air above their heads. You'll have time to do swimming. You'll have time to do the warrior canoe trek. The warrior canoe trek is kind of fun. We have 2 warrior canoes. They hold about 20 people each. And we send you out on a 1.5 mile trek. You go out a 1.5 miles and you come back a 1.5 miles. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of hard work. They learn to work together. They splash, they giggle, they have a lot of fun. And this kind of came into play because with the old Young Women's Camp program, they needed a hike, and there's nowhere to hike from Camp Hunt. There's no good spots to hike directly from Camp Hunt. So this was their hike. So total, you get 3 hours, not 3 hours, 3 miles in the warrior canoe with your group. We also have paddles. So that is also on our waterfront. It'll kind of be side by side with the swimming. And that's time to use the kayaks, canoes, and the stand-up paddle boards. Our last option for your rotation is Riley Field group games. Down at the south end of camp, we have a beautiful new grass field. And we have a lot of just lawn games. We've got things like croquet, rollers, can jam, a lot of traditional lawn games, as well as some that are just new and trendy right now. And that'll be just time for you to go down with your group and just play and have some fun. Let's go back up to our schedule. If you look between rotation 1 and 2 and then moving on the schedule as well, you'll see that there is a half hour between each rotation. That half hour does a couple of things. It provides our lifeguards to get out of the sun for a minute. They are out there lifeguarding on that lake all day, every day, and it provides them just a few minutes to get out of the sun and cool down. It also provides them time to refill their water bottles, to hydrate well, to apply more sunscreen, and to go to the bathroom if they need to, so that they can be out there lifeguarding while your youth are out in the water. We also recommend that is time for your youth to do the same thing, to hydrate, to apply more sunscreen, to go to the bathroom.
And go to the trading post.
And go to the trading post in case, just on Bear Lake, people get sunburned very, very easy. They have no idea how little it takes on Bear Lake to get sunburned, and how much water they lose in the water. They need to stay hydrated.
And go
So
to the trading post.
and go buy some ice cream at the trading post. So those are things that we recommend that you have your youth do in that half-hour break between rotations. And then it gives you time to be at your next rotation on time, ready to start with your whole group, not people wandering in as it's ready to start. In the evenings, we'll have dinner followed by flag ceremony. On the first evening that you're in camp, we'll have a campfire, some skits done by the staff, followed by a flag retirement. We pride ourselves on our patriotism and the reverent manner in which we retire flags. We know that a lot of people, a lot of Americans don't have the opportunity in their life to see a flag be retired. And that's something that's very meaningful for us. We didn't want to give up, and we want to share with you. Following the flag retirement and the campfire, you'll have group time. That's time for you to do something with your group, whether that's a quiet minute, whether it's a fun time, whether it's a Dutch oven treat, that's up to you. And then quiet time and lights out. Let's start back up Tuesday morning and Wednesday. We have breakfast followed by flag ceremony. Flag ceremony is how we start the day at camp every day. We'll do a quick raise the flags and do the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we will give announcements for the day. Anything that you need to know that pertains to that day will be discussed at flag ceremony. We do try to keep it brief, but that's the best way we've found to get information out. Tuesday, you'd move on with rotation 3, 4, and 5. And then in the afternoon, we'll have the Waterfront Olympics. The Waterfront Olympics, I believe we talk about later, so I'm just gonna briefly mention that, followed by dinner and flag again. That evening after flag ceremony, we will do those chores we discussed earlier. You'll have an assignment. It will require a few of your youth or all of your youth. If you want to get in and really help us scrub things down and get it really clean, we would appreciate that. However, our bathrooms and whatnot only accommodate so many people. So, but however you want to work that with your group, we'll communicate to you what we need you to do. That second night is a lot more group time. It's about a half hour to an hour longer. And then Wednesday morning, we wake up and we do Washiki games. At Camp Hunt, the Washiki games are just games for everyone in camp to come participate in. They're large group games. Build some friendships with other groups in camp. Enjoy that time. Just it's competitive, but it's not competitive. You don't have to be athletic to participate. We ask that adults and youth alike participate in that activity, and we'll cover that a little bit more with Waterfront Olympics. And then you'll have about an hour to get everything packed up and loaded up and get out of camp so that we can turn around and start our Wednesday arrivals for the next youth session. I'll let you look at this schedule here, as well as you can go online and print it out for yourself. One note I want to make for that 4-day session that begins on Wednesday is that there are 7 rotation blocks in the schedule. As I pointed out earlier, we only have 5 rotations. That means in there, you are going to have 2 free time rotations that we ask that you bring some kind of an activity or have some kind of a plan for your youth to do during those 2 rotations that you don't have an activity. Those could be things like, I don't know, a treasure hunt, a silly team building game, something that you want to do in camp, but they'll need to be things that can be ready quickly, or that you have someone preparing ahead of time, because you finish rotation 2, it's time to move on to rotation 3. That's your free time. We have this game ready to go, and we can help you find the right place in camp that you're not a distraction to whatever else is going on, or whatever else is going on is not a distraction to what you're doing. But please communicate that with us so we can help you with that. On that 4-day schedule that begins on Wednesday, you'll see that first night there's also flag campfire and flag retirement. And then the other nights you have a lot more group time for your group. We'll do the Waterfront Olympics on Friday afternoon. And then Friday afternoon and evening, again, a lot more group time. On Saturday, before you leave, we'll start out with the Washiki games. Again, large group games out on the field. Um, for the Washiki games, we definitely recommend, regardless of, let me back up just a bit. Regardless of where the state is at that time, we ask that everyone bring a mask or two to camp, and that you bring some hand sanitizer for your group. Because the Washiki games, they are in close proximity, they are fun, but we want everyone to be safe. And depending on where things are at, will depend on what we require at that time. And then if you're on the Saturday session or on the 4-day session, right there at the end, while some of your group is packing up the campsite and getting ready to head out, we'll ask that some of you again help with chores. And I don't anticipate that will take more than 15 or 20 minutes. Of your time, of some of your youth's time, but we do ask that you help with that. The one last thing I want to go over is over here on the this side of the screen. If you are coming to a 3-day session instead of a 4-day session that begins on Wednesday, this will be your schedule here. It includes all the same things. It's set up very similar. And these sessions that will follow this schedule are the second half of the week before the 4th of July and the second half of the week before the 24th of July. If there are any questions on that, or you need help understanding or following the schedule, please communicate that with us. We want to make sure everyone understands before we get going.
That's a lot of information. I'm tired just listening to it. You're gonna have a great time. There's all sorts of opportunities for the adults and the youth when you come up to camp. One of the issues that we deal with quite often up at camp is dealing with the weather. We often get the storms rolling in the afternoons, and we will adjust to make things work as best we can. If there is lightning, we are required to clear the water for 30 minutes at the sound or sight of lightning and thunder until it has cleared. This is a safety factor. We do not budge on it. We have a timer running. Our waterfront director is very diligent to make sure that we're keeping our youth and our staff safe. And we will adjust as best we can. There could be some missed water opportunities if a storm lasts long. Like Robin said, we do have some different activities that are group games and activities down on the waterfront for the Waterfront Olympics and the Washiki Games. Washiki Games are named after Chief Washiki, and Chief Washiki would do rendezvous up in the Bear Lake area, and the Indian tribes would come together, and the games they would play would teach skills and test skills. And we like to have our Washiki Games do just that, teach and test things, just so we have some fun while we're playing those games. We did have to adjust significantly on the games we did last year. And so we've got some new games that we'll bring in as well as some of the games that we've played for many years, just depending on what our restrictions are at that point. The Waterfront Olympics is one of my favorite opportunities to play. I started off at Camp Hunt as the waterfront director, and so I love being down on that beach. We will have paddleless canoe or kayak races, paper airplane competitions, our branding irons with our camp brand, caber toss, gaga pit, sand creations, tug of row, and all sorts of other activities going on. This is an opportunity to be down at the waterfront, getting your toes wet, playing in the sand, and just having a good time on Bear Lake's shore. We do enjoy all of these opportunities. Our staff will be there mixing in with the youth and enjoying that time together, teaching the games as well as playing along, because that's playtime for us too.
All right, so as you've made your reservations, especially if you've called into the office with questions, you may know that 50% of your camp fees are due May 1st. We have a lot of things that we provide for your youth, and we've got to have the money available to be able to do that. And then we also ask that final payments be made 1 week before your arrival at camp. The one thing that some of you may or may not know about is that we're requiring proof of insurance for all non-BSA groups that come into camp. Most of you are going to be from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The church has the insurance. We just need the statement of the proof of that insurance. On the website, if you go to Camp Hunt's page at utahscouts.org, it will give you instructions of how to obtain that insurance proof for us. And there's a place where you can upload that so that we've got it. That will be required for you to come to camp. And so we ask that you start working on that now. It shouldn't take a terribly long time to get that from the church, but if they're slammed with that from every group in the church the week before camp happens, they're going to be overloaded. So please start working on that now. It's very simple to get. It doesn't cost you anything. And please know that that is a requirement to attend scout camp this year.
One of the youth's favorite parts of camp is the trading post. And we laugh and joke about that. We want to sell. It's because the kids like to buy. It's fun. In our trading post, we have sodas and snacks and all sorts of treats to keep them sugared up and going while they're at camp. We also have some souvenirs like hats and shirts, and we just got approval for water bottle stickers and just the different things that pertain to our camp. We also have soft serve ice cream and packaged ice cream on Tuesday and Friday, whichever camp session you're going to be there with us. We'll have Bear Lake Raspberry Shake Day. That's part of what Bear Lake is famous for, is the raspberries, and we bring that into camp with our shake machine.
Camp Hunt's getting pretty famous for raspberry shakes too. We have people stop off the highway because they know we have raspberry shakes.
And you don't have nearly the line as you do it down
delicious.
Yeah. One of the things that you can do is pre-order those shakes. When you get to camp, if there's a day that you know you're going to want a treat for your youth, you can stop down at the trading post and say, on Tuesday at 3:00, I would like 22 small raspberry shakes. Our trading post staff will have them ready for you. They'll have a crate for you to carry them into your camp. And when you walk into that campsite, you are the hero. You're the important one in camp at that moment. They're going to love you for it. And so you can be the hero of the day as you bring in those treats.
Disappeared.
Yeah. Also, the shirts that we'll be selling this year, you can pre-order. We'll be sending out information that if you want to have matchy shirts for your group, just like staff does, we like looking sharp, looking unified with a uniform. If that's something that you would like for your youth, that information will be coming out in an email to you that you can pre-order those shirts, and they will be shipped to your home, and you can come to camp with those shirts. So you don't have to stand in line at the trading post while other people buy their Mountain Dew and their candy bars and all that good stuff. But you can be ready for it. Do you have anything else that you thought of that we haven't gone over?
I don't think so.
All right.
If they have questions, they can always email, like he said at the beginning, bdscamphunt@gmail.com.
Or go through the council's website at utahscouts.org/camphunt. /hunt. She says it all day long on the phone. If you call the camp desk, she's probably one of the ones that you're talking to. But I just answered the emails. But please, if you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Let us answer your questions. If you've got a specific request or need for camp, talk to us. If we can make it work, we're all about that. We want to serve the youth. We want to bring back some sanity to this crazy time in the world. We are so excited to have you come up to our camp. We love Camp Hunt. We love Bear Lake, and we love serving the youth. And our staff feels exactly the same way. If you have questions, contact us. If you need something, let us know. We look forward to seeing you. May 22nd is our open house where you can come up and see the facilities, check things out. Also, that's when you can reserve the different pavilions and amphitheaters and the different things that we've got up there. That's when we'll do those signups so that you'll be ready for it.
So we will start those signups at the open house If you're unable to come to the open house, you'll need to wait till after the 22nd to do so.
We'll email that out so it's right after. So on the 23rd, we'll send that out once we get our papers up to date, so we know who's going to be where. But it's a great opportunity to come up and see the camp, meet us, let us answer your questions, and let us meet you. We're excited for this summer, and we look forward to the summertime when you and your youth will come up and hang out with us. Have a great day. We will see you this summer.
See you
Thanks.
soon.